awareness programs. He has written over 1,000 articles for mainstream India and authored over 6 books. Apart from being an adjunct faculty at NISM, Sir is also involved in various projects with including development of certification programs for the intermediaries as well as being on the examination committee. Not only that, Sir has attached quite some feathers of success to his hat. He has been chosen by the Chitralekha magazine as 50 Glorious Gujaratis for the year 2019. Sir is also recognized as among India's 25 best finance teachers in 2001 by the Association of International Wealth Management of India. Along with that, Sir has also been awarded the inaugural Guru Gaurav Puraskar at the Arth Mitra Gurukulam National Conference 2023 for contribution in the field of education and knowledge. My dear students, I must tell you, you should heed to each and every word that Sir utters here. You are definitely you will definitely train yourself on the road of success. Now I request our principal sir to welcome our esteemed speaker on the stage with a plant. Sir, please. We welcome you, sir. The stage is all yours.
Thank you and good morning, everybody. Great. So, first of all, it feels so good and energetic. The way you were clapping when I entered. So, thank you so much for that warm welcome. Early in the morning, it's a good exercise for you. But it's very heartening for somebody like me to receive such a welcome reception. Now, what are we going to talk about? Any idea? Anybody? Yes, please. Finance. Wonderful.
Security markets.
Securities markets, okay? Something related to stock markets, okay? Anybody else? No problem. So finance, securities markets, stock markets. How many of you know something about stock markets already? Quite a few of you. Wonderful. And what do you know about stock markets? Sorry, please repeat. Where people buy stocks. Okay, wonderful.
People buy and sell the stocks according to their price rise up.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
The company's trades and stocks increase according to their economic growth and economic steps and the moves that the company take. Then the price also depends on the people, how much the people buy the stocks and sell the stocks, and depending on that, like when the stocks increase and when the stocks decrease, you need good knowledge, and you can make high profits, but you can also make long-term profits, and you can also make long-term losses.
Wonderful, very well explained. So, a round of applause for all those who answered. Now I come to the girls, because we got 3 answers from the boys. Now I need some response from the girls. So they explained what is stock market, and somebody mentioned about stock markets. Somebody also said securities markets. What is the difference between the two? Or are they the same? No, girls, sorry, this is girls' chance. Girls, it's a matter of your reputation. Boys answered. You can't lose. The girls in India today are far more competitive than the boys, by the way. Sorry, boys.
Sir, it is the same thing.
It's the same thing, okay? Do all of you agree, or is there any difference? So you're saying, you're nodding your head, yeah, yes. So is there a difference? You're nodding your head, right? No. Is it the same, or is there a difference? Okay, let me come to the boys. Somebody was raising hand. Yeah, please.
So in the stock market, people trade shares of company, but in the securities market, multinational companies and banks trade bank securities and other bank securities, sir.
Okay, so partially right. Securities markets is a broader term, and within that, one of the markets is called stock markets. Stocks are one type of securities which are traded in the market. Other than stocks, there are bonds, debentures. You was mentioning about the institutions and banks trading. They trade different instruments. But I must congratulate all of you for what you know about this. In lot of schools, students do not know this much. So heads off to you all. Now let's come to a slightly broader subject, or rather from stock markets and securities markets to the third subject, which is even broader, finance. How many of you deal with finances? Yes. How do you deal with finances? In which areas, which matters?
Whatever we do, anything we do related to our currency or money is actually dealing with finances.
Give me a specific example, please. Good answer.
Market, we buy some items.
Absolutely. So if you go to a shop and buy something, you are dealing with finance. When you pay the fees in the school, you are dealing with finance. When you sign up for a competitive exam and pay fees there, you are dealing with finance. So finance is not just about stock markets or securities markets. Finance is a much wider subject, and in every single area in our life, finance is involved. And that's why, whether you choose a career in finance or not, you must understand the subject of finance. Because once you get into a job or business or whatever you do after your education, you will start earning money, and that money has to be spent. You start earning money, you spend money, the difference between the two is what you save, and that saving needs to be invested somewhere. You've got to understand, where do you invest? Somebody in the family may fall sick, and for that, expenses would be involved. For that, medical insurance. So you've got to understand what is medical insurance. Some of you want to pursue higher education. You may, or your parents may opt for education loan. Whether that loan is appropriate, whether that loan is good or not, who will evaluate that? Somebody has to do that. Somebody's got to understand that. And I've only taken a few examples. It just is a long list of examples. Look at any situation in your life, any major change or any minor requirement, and you need money. So let's look at something slightly different. Somebody mentioned about you go to a shop and when you buy something. Okay? So you are the customer and the shopkeeper is the merchant into a business. How does the shopkeeper make money? Yeah?
By selling the items which he has, and By selling the goods which to the producer, this is how he earns money.
Wonderful. But whatever he sells, he has to buy from somewhere, right? So the profit actually comes when you all studied in that SPVP, whatever you call it, right? Buy price, selling price. You did those mathematics sum? Yeah, how does one make profits? When the selling price is more than the cost price. But there is another angle to it. There are certain other expenses that he has to incur. Let's say when somebody has taken a shop on rent, whether a customer comes to the shop or not, the shopkeeper has to pay the rent. Right? Now, just assume that a customer bought some items at 5,000 rupees. The shopkeeper bought something at 5,000 rupees and sold at 6,000 rupees. So all of us would say sale price is higher than cost price, 1,000 rupees is a profit. But for that particular month, the rent was 3,000 rupees. Now the shopkeeper is in loss. Because the total expense is 5,000 rupees for the purchase of items, 3,000 rupees rent, and the money earned was 6,000 rupees. We are actually getting into the next level. The moment you start looking at businesses, you get into the profit, loss, income, expenses, and that's how you look at the financial statements. This is one very, very big area in finance, which is called handling the company's business finances. Students who opt for commerce as their subject of choice in the 11th standard onwards can get into the BCom, MCom, chartered accountancy and some related courses and get into these finance jobs, where you will be required to not just look at the profits and profitability of the business also requires loans. So rent was one example that I mentioned. What happens when the shopkeeper does not have enough money to buy the goods worth 5,000 rupees? The shopkeeper goes to a bank, takes a loan, and every loan comes with what? Interest. So you have to pay the interest also, and interest is a cost for the business. The moment there is a cost for the business, that goes out of the profits. Incidentally, when we as individuals take loans, we don't really bother about some of these aspects because we don't worry about the profits. But if I am buying a car, should I buy that car out of the money that I have saved, or should I take a loan and buy that car? Saved money. Why? Somebody said saved money. Yeah, so why? It's a safer option. How do you say that it's a safer option? Please explain. Yeah.
Suppose if we don't have the money to pay the loan, so it's a safer option for us to opt the saved money that we have saved.
But when you don't have money, that's when you need loan. Anybody from this side? Girls, you need loan, right? You want to answer? Yeah, you want to answer. Okay, please go ahead.
So there is no need to pay the interest if we save the money.
If you save the money and pay out of it, there is no need to pay interest on loan.
Yes.
Perfect. You want to say something? Okay. You are about to say something similar. Okay, great. So, yeah, you have a different answer? Yes, please.
Sir, Sir, I believe we should take EMIs for buying a car instead of taking it on cash. Because if we use the same money and invest it in mutual funds and stock markets, we can get better returns than the EMI that we are with the EMI that we are paying off. If we pay it off in cash, we won't get such returns.
Okay. How about you? Fantastic. Yeah.
Sir, actually, whether we should take a loan or use the same money depends on many aspects. First of all, it's not necessary that the loan that we take is going to be the entire cost of the car.
Right.
We might loan some amount and then we might use some of the same money.
Right.
But whether we should use the same money or the loan money comes entirely to how much the amount is and how much the interest is. For example, if we are confident that the same money can be invested in somewhere else and we can get more profit from that, and it would be a better option to just invest in the same money, it would be safer to take a loan. But if we do not have any plans for the same money other than the car, or if the same money was specifically for the car, then we should use the same money.
Brilliant, brilliant answer, brilliant answer. You wanted to say something? Somebody over there? Yeah.
Sir, it also depends if the value of the car would increase or not, and if we have that money. For example, if there is a car that is beyond our capacity to buy, we can take a loan if the value of that car can increase. Though it rarely happens, so most people use their saved money.
Superb, superb, superb. All these answers that you are talking about, or the questions that you are considering to evaluate this particular question, that's where the financial knowledge becomes important. I started this discussion specifically because whatever field you pursue eventually, whichever line of business you get into, as an employee or you start up your own business, whatever you do in life, these are the questions that you're going to face sooner or later. In fact, I would very strongly urge all of you to start discussing these things with your parents also. It's a good net practice, if I may use that word, because the sports ground is just close by. Talking to your parents could be a good net practice, because you are not dealing with hard money, they are dealing with the money. So eventually they will take the discussion. They'll take the decision. But the discussion would allow you to pick up what they think, how they evaluate the situation, and your questions would get validated. So let me give my answer as to this particular question. And it's sort of a combination of some of your answers plus some more. If I have some money saved for buying a car, then it could be a better choice to simply use that money to buy the car. Option number one. Option number two, if I do not have the money right now and I need a car, if I do not have enough money and I need a car, I need to take loan for the amount, deficit amount. Sounds very simple. But now assume that I've got money, enough money to buy the car, and now I need the car. I'm spoiled for choices now. Somebody mentioned about investing in mutual funds or stocks or whatever. Somebody said, if I can earn higher return on my investment compared to the cost of the loan. Right? So let me ask a simple question to you. Between a bank that gives you a loan and you as an individual, who's likely to be smarter? So bank is offering you a loan at 9% and you are not as smart as the bank. Why do you think that you can earn more than 9%? If the bank is smarter, wouldn't the bank look at those opportunities and earn more rather than giving you a loan at 9%? Think about it. Yes, please. Yeah, yeah.
Sir, the reason that such a belief exists is Sir, the reason such a belief exists is because usually the bank interest rates are lower than private money or loans. But in most of the cases, private banks and government banks, they are also trying to earn profits as they also have land costs, salary costs, water, electricity, everything.
Right.
So, almost by comparison, in US markets currently, every year the value of the currency decreases by about 4%, but the bank interest rates are the same. So this ensures you don't get enough profits. But on the other hand, stock markets and even currently cryptocurrency have better annual return rates.
Okay, so stock markets and other avenues offer better returns on your investment is what you are suggesting. Then the question here is, then why don't banks invest in stock market, and why should the bank lend money to you, give a loan to you? Because if I'm getting more returns by investing in a large, well-established company like, let's say, a State Bank of India or an LIC or HDFC Bank or Reliance Industries, very well-established companies. If I can make more money by investing stocks of those companies, why would I lend money to an individual? Yeah. Girls, the boys are scoring at a faster rate. You need to answer some questions.
Sir, the main reason is that if we invest in bigger companies, first of all, it's not ensured that we will always get a profit. It can be a loss, and that is always mentioned. But if we give a loan to an individual, they have to pay it with the interest. There is no such thing as any risk, or if they are not able to pay the rent right now, then the interest will increase. And it's a confirmed profit.
Wonderful. So that means the smarter guys don't take risk, and those who are not smart, they take risk. Can I say that?
No, sir. We take risks depending on our situation.
We take risk depending on our situation. So in this particular situation, the bank thinks that the situation demands that you don't take risk, and we think in the same situation that we should take risk. Who's smarter? Anyway, we'll leave this question here because the debate can only keep going on and on. I just wanted you to think about such questions, because any decision that you take in life, be it related to money or your career or most other decisions in life, there is a huge degree of uncertainty involved. And whenever there is uncertainty involved, you better ask questions. And that brings us to, once again, the career related choices. In India, generally, that I have seen that a lot of people, lot of students and their parents, they prefer education in the STEM subjects, right? The science, mathematics, technology, engineering, etc., etc. What was not mentioned in my biodata, let me just share that with you. I did my engineering. And I'm a BE instrumentation and control. When I was about to finish my course, I realized that there are very few job opportunities. So what do you do in that case? If the job opportunities are limited, you apply at multiple places. I got lucky. I had 2 jobs in hand. But somebody told me that if you also do MBA after engineering, your job prospects would even increase further. In those days, I did not know much. Somebody told me you can become a CEO. I did not know what a CEO does. The only thing that I knew was CEO is the highest paid person in the company. So I said, let's become a CEO so that you make money. I did got admission into MBA school and did my MBA. In the MBA class, we had only 2 options to choose from: finance and marketing. And I hated finance, so I chose marketing. It's not that I liked marketing. It was theory of elimination. What you hate, eliminate. But, okay, how many of you watch movies? Hindi movies? Quite a few of you. You watched this Shah Rukh Khan movie called Om Shanti Om? Yes. So there's one famous dialogue that Shah Rukh Khan says, अगर किसी चीज को Yes, exactly. Shah Rukh Khan can say that. I'm not Shah Rukh Khan, right? Do I look like one? I don't. I'm not Shah Rukh Khan. So, Shah Rukh Khan बोलता है कि अगर किसी चीज को शिद्दत से चाहो तो पूरी कायनात उससे आपको मिलाने की कोशिश में लग जाती है. In my case, because I'm not Shah Rukh Khan, अगर किसी चीज को तुम शिद्दत से नफरत करो तो भी कायनात उसको मिलाने में लग जाती है. So I hated finance and I entered financial services because no other jobs were available after MBA. So that's how I began my career. Why am I mentioning this? Why is it important to mention this? You can take whatever path, and then there are still a lot of opportunities in the field of finance to build a career. So I hated a subject when I was in school. Today I am teaching at 2 national level institutions, the same subject. It's not that it's easy, it's just that it is possible. And that's why understanding certain things becomes very important. So what are the qualities that you need? Number 1, always be a student. Your education will actually start after you pass out of your college. It doesn't end there. Because in the school and the college, the institution, which is your school or your college, decides your timetable, decides the course curriculum. Once you are out, you have to pick up what you want to learn and how you want to learn. You prepare your timetable. But the learning does not stop. Number 2, whatever field you choose, you will be dealing with a lot of people. Learn the art of dealing with people, making friends, making enemies, and even working with enemies. You have to do that. Sometimes it happens, right? I mean, if you're playing a team sport, let's say you're a football player, or a volleyball player, or a hockey player, whatever sport you may be liking. Team sport in particular, not an individual sport. And there is one player in the team with whom you fought. But in order for the team to win, you have to forget that rivalry on the ground. That's what sports teaches you. And that you carry forward in whatever field you take in life. So learn that art. In your exam, if you need a certain cutoff marks or above to get admission into the college of your choice, you don't have a choice of ignoring a chapter in a class, in a subject. So with that, multiple options in financial services that you may choose. Stock market is something that all of us talked about. Banking is the other area. Now, when you look at banking, how many of you gone to a bank? Who do you meet there? You read the boards written, the designations written there. What do you read there? One is a branch manager, I know that, right? Who else? What else? Cashier. What else? Regional manager, okay. What else? You read teller? Vault, yeah, okay. Lockers, vaults manager, okay. Teller? So cashier and teller are the same persons, okay? So they actually give you cash or accept cash from you. And from there is a word which has come, which is very popularly used in a particular machine. Do you know which machine I'm talking about? ATM machine. What is the full form of the ATM? Automated teller machine. For a lot of you, your parents are your ATM, right? Anytime money. Teller is one. There are personal bankers, there are relationship managers, there are wealth managers in a bank, apart from the branch manager and the wealth manager. At the back office, there are multiple positions within the bank where they take care of the transactions that you do, your details, the details of the account holder. There are people who look at your papers, finances, etc. and decide whether a loan can be given to you or not. These are multiple options available. On the wealth management side, which is where the securities markets come in, that's where the world of investment comes in. And that field also requires people skills, mathematics, and understanding of finance. Yes, mathematics is involved there. How many of you want to go to IIT? Any dreams of IIT? Wonderful. Last year, out of the top 3 choices, subject choices, top 3 subject choices, one was economics at IIT Mumbai. At one point in time, nobody thought that an Indian Institute of Technology would teach the subject of economics. So that's the demand. Right? And then, of course, it comes in handy in many other areas. So these are a few options that you have. Of course, on the stock market side, jobs are available in the stock exchange, the stock broking companies, and mutual fund companies, insurance companies, etc. Companies, large companies, when they have surplus money, they need somebody to manage that money, invest that money. Companies' money is invested very differently from individual money. My final, this thing would be options available to you all are plenty. Take careful decision. Don't look at money only. Build a career, money will come. So with that I end the discussion. Any queries, questions you may have, please feel free. Anybody any questions, please ask. That's
Sir, I had a query.
please.
Sir, I had a question related to the stock market.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So, sir, how does the stock, what is the stock, like the price of a share or a stock directly related to in a stock market?
A stock is a small fraction of ownership interest in a company, right? So each shareholder is part owner of a company. Now, if you are running your business as an owner, what is the only thing that should interest you at the end as a result? Profits. So over a long period of time, the stock price in the market depends on how the profits of the company are growing over a longer period of time. Over shorter periods of time, because these stocks are publicly traded on stock markets, the prices move in line with opinions of people. So today I may feel that this company's future is bad. Then I may want to sell the stock. If large number of people start feeling it that way, then the stock price will eventually go down. In exactly opposite manner, if large number of people start believing that the company's prospects are very bright, currently the company may not be making any profits at all, then also the prices would go up. So in the short run, it is the sentiment and availability of money. In the long run, the growth of the business. These are the drivers of stock prices. Yes, please.
Sir, till the time when we will grow up, AI would take over on many things. So, do you think it will also take over finance? And if it takes over, then what is the solution for us if we go into the finance field?
I don't know. Okay, so let me try and give my perspective. When I was a student like you, there were no computers, no mobile phones, and obviously in the absence of these two, there was no internet also.
Sir, why is insider trading?
Just a second. Let me just finish this answer. So this was not there. So the moment computers were introduced, a lot of people felt that lot of jobs would be lost. It happened, lot of jobs were lost, but new jobs got created. So my sense is AI may go the same path. Stay vigilant, stay a student of life, keep learning as things change. And in your generation, the rate of change is far faster than my generation. So keep learning, keep updating yourself, and you will start finding ways. Yeah, sorry, no.
Sir, why is insider trading illegal?
Illegal. Yeah. So let's talk about the answer that I give about this particular question. If the company's stock is the price of the stock is dependent on how the company grows in future, who's likely to have more information about what the company is going to do? The insiders within the company, right? So as a public shareholder, you may have less information available compared to the top management of the company or people involved in the projects. And to that extent, if they take advantage of that early availability of information, the public at large is put at a disadvantage. And to that extent, insider trading becomes illegal. So anybody who's supposed to have access to information, if that person trades, currently SEBI, the securities market regulator in India, has very advanced vigilance mechanisms, and they are able to identify various patterns. And based on that, there are many cases that people have been caught. The illegal profits made out of insider trading has been disgorged, which means entire profit has been taken away by the regulator. And of course, they are barred from markets. In certain cases, the court of the country gets involved, and some of these people may get into jail also if that fraud gets established. But insider trading is bad for general public, the small investors, and to that extent, it's illegal and harsh actions can be taken. It's actually a fraud in legal terms.
Sir, how does cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, Dogecoin work?
So, are you asking how the currency works or how the price works? How the price works, okay. So first of all, cryptocurrencies or Dogecoin or anything is actually not a mainstream currency. And to that extent, at least in India, the government does not recognize that as a currency. Right? Why does the price move like this in spite of that? So, the entire cryptocurrency, whether it is Bitcoin, Dogecoin or whatever, Ethereum or whatever it is, these things are perceived to become mainstream currency sometime in future. And it is out of that hope or speculation that people are buying right now. That's what is working right now. Again, because it is crypto, which means a lot of things are not known to the public. The identity of the holder of that currency is not known to anybody. So one school of thought is there is some illegal speculation happening there. Again, no proof is available. But one side says that, the other side says no, there is nothing wrong.
Sir, I want to say something about the question that Arjun asked, that what if AI overtakes the field of finance? I want to say that, as we all know, AI is not something that is a living being, so it has to be ultimately controlled by a human. Although AI overtakes the field of finance, it has to be ultimately controlled by us. So there is no loss of, ultimately there is no net loss of job opportunities.
Well said, well said. And you guys are going to actually drive the growth of AI, not people like me. Okay. So you guys are going, just a second, I know. So you guys are going to drive the growth of that AI, and to that extent, the jobs would shift, not disappear. Yeah. Some of you want to say something, yeah? Please.
Sir, so why is the foreign exchange market so volatile?
Now, foreign exchange market, the exchange rate between currencies is a function of multiple things. Two major things. One is what is the trade surplus or deficit between two different countries. So, if a country is importing from another country that is exporting, then if those trade balances fluctuate, then there could be an impact. So, it's basically, if India buys oil or gold, we are buying in some other foreign currency. And to that extent, the Indian currency versus gold, the prices may have an impact. That's number one. Number two, eventually the currency prices depend on the inflation in the country. So if the inflation in some other country versus India is going to go up or down, the currency prices fluctuate. Banks, exporters and importers are larger players, and to that extent, their actions also may impact the prices.
Sir, we all know about Harshad Mehta. It is said that for some period of time he controlled the stock market, and in that way he did the scam of 1992. So can you tell us how he did that?
If you know about Harshad Mehta through that series, then that's only part of the story. Yeah, so it's only part of the story. You heard the story of Pied Piper? Pied Piper? No? Yes, a few have heard, few have not heard. Essentially, I'll just quickly narrate that story and then come to Harshad Mehta. And Harshad Mehta is just an example, but it happens almost everywhere, every time. So there was a town in Germany in the yesteryears called Hemden, and that place at one point in time a major problem of rats, rodents. The villagers and the village leaders were really troubled with that. One fine day, a guy, a piper, he came and he said, "I can solve this problem, but you've got to pay me some hefty amount for that work." So they agreed, because though the amount was large, they said, if we get rid of this problem, let's close it. This guy started playing his pipe, and when he played a particular tune, all the rodents started following him. So he just walked out of the village, took them beyond a cliff, and then took them into the water, and the rodents died. He came back asking for his reward. Now the villagers said, the problem is solved, why should we honor our commitment? And because they refused to pay, this guy played another tune. Then all the kids in the village started following him. He took them to the other side of the cliff and never returned. So that's the story of Pied Piper of Hamelin. The tune that he played, the kids listened to it and followed the piper. And that is precisely what happened during the Harshad Mehta time. Harshad Mehta was playing a certain tune and a lot of people followed him. But the way Harshad Mehta articulated a lot of things, it actually made economic sense. He identified value in good companies. And he said the stocks are trading at lower prices. He also identified that India was liberalizing at that point in time as a country and a lot of foreign capital would come in. Because of which also the prices should go up. Now what does this opening up mean? So let's say, if there is a closed vessel where some stuff is there and there is some amount of water. A lot of lighter weight items, lower density than water, those items would float in the water, right? That's what happens, physics students. What floats on the water? When the density is lower? Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm a finance guy now, though I studied engineering long back. Now, so long as the vessel remains closed, what would happen to the lighter items? They would float at that particular level. If there is a leakage in the vessel, then those items would start going down because the water level keeps going down. And what is the leakage? So prior to 1991, when India was a closed economy, the money was going out of the country to buy gold, to buy oil. And we actually got into trouble in 91 when the Gulf War happened, that the vessel was almost empty. So now in an empty vessel, if you open that vessel up, liquid would flow in from outside. What would happen? Everything would start moving up. And what moves up in the financial market? The prices of stocks, real estate. And that was Harshad Mehta's theory. He said as the economy is opened up, more capital would come in and the stock prices would rise. And he had logical theories backing up those respective companies that these companies should benefit. Of course, he also did something which was not so straightforward, where he took money from the PSUs and the banking system and invested in stocks. So that was the other thing that he did. So there was something wrong and something right that he did.
Sir, SIP is best or stock market?
Okay, so stock market is a place where you buy stocks. SIP is a process of investing in mutual funds. So there is a market and there is a process. So to that extent, neither is comparable. But should you regularly buy stocks or should you regularly invest in a mutual fund? If that's the question, then I would say buying stocks means you got to analyze the stocks yourself. You need to understand the business yourself. Investing through a mutual fund means you are leaving that job to a team of experts to do. So between a stock and a mutual fund, if you have expertise, time, liking and money, go buy stocks. If you don't have at least one of these four, then let the fund managers do the job. SIP is ideal for most of us. The moment you have a regular income and if you are able to save on a regular basis, SIP puts an automated stuff. That's what SIP does. Yeah, but she wants to say something. Can you pass the mic?
Sir, I know that you said that we should focus on career and then think about money, but what are the highest paid jobs in the field of finance?
Some of the highest paid jobs in the field of finance, and if you want to start earning money at an early age, then wealth management is an area where in less than a decade you can start. I mean, in the current scenario, when you graduate and when you are 10 years, when you complete 10 years in working, it could be very different. But today, for a reasonably good person willing to work hard, in less than 5 years, earning 1 crore per year in wealth management is possible. So that's probably the highest paying job within finance.
Sir, I have a question. Sir, currently in stock market there's a common practice of overpricing companies. Companies such as Tesla, even Elon Musk himself said that are over-trusted by the company, but the companies are not able to provide enough value to show as proof for those valuations. Is this good for the stock market, and why is it good?
I don't know whether it's good for the market per se or not. But if I'm an investor, I have a choice whether to buy companies where the price is far higher than the value, or buy companies where the value is far higher than the price. And that requires a careful analysis. So whether it is good for an overall market or not, I should not care as an individual investor. I should care whether I can make good money or not. And for that, needed analysis might be required.
Sir, I have one doubt. Which is more profitable, like investing in stock markets or like physical things like investing in like giving out flats on rent, or like which will make us get more profits?
Can't make a generalized statement like that. There are individual opportunities where sometimes the stocks do well, sometimes real estate does well. Within real estate, some real estate properties do well, some don't. And within stock market, some markets do well, some don't. And some stocks do well, some don't. So, there's no generalized answer per se. You'll have to evaluate each individual opportunity. Having said that, apart from profitability, if you got into a wrong stock, it's easier to sell and buy another. If you got into a wrong real estate, selling it will take a long time and the transaction costs are going to be higher. Third thing, what you mentioned is a very important point, and I would like to highlight that. You said buying a real estate and giving it on rent. So that's the wise part. If you are investing in real estate, give it on rent and generate income. Don't leave it vacant.
Sir, we all know that the Adani Group prices had gone down very much. So why did it exactly happen so suddenly, and how did it happen?
Yes, so this is not a recommendation because you asked about a specific group. Adani Group share prices. There was a report by one research agency from Canada called Hindenburg. And Hindenburg report said that these prices are too high, and they also pointed at some irregularities in the business. Incidentally, Hindenburg just decided to exit their business of short selling and creating research reports. But their track record is impeccable. I think 97% cases they have turned out to be right. So with that kind of a track record, if somebody says that this share prices don't deserve to be here, yeah, so that does largely the fallout.
Sir, I have two questions. So why?
It's okay.
Sir, why is trading bank loan money in stock markets illegal, and how did the 2008 financial crisis happen?
So, trading in stock markets by taking loans is not illegal. It is only highly risky. Okay? So law does not prevent anybody from doing it. But why is it risky? And so first of all, there is a difference between trading and investing. Trading is typically done for shorter periods. Investing is generally done for longer periods. And I was answering one of the questions as to what drives the stock prices. Over a longer period, the company's business drives the prices. Over a shorter period, people's opinion drives the prices. People's opinion is difficult to gauge, and especially to profit from people's opinion, you got to be against the crowd and you are part of that same crowd. So it's a difficulty. Number one, it's a difficulty, and then when you taken a loan, you got to repay that loan. And when you have to repay the loan, the chances are you may have to exit at the wrong times. So it's not illegal, but highly risky. Yes, please. Can you,
let's say someone takes a loan from a bank. What is the guarantee that he has to pay it back? What if he just disappears? I mean, how do you guarantee that he will do it?
Okay, so first, good, fantastic question. I hope it's not the intent, it's only curiosity. But whenever, okay, it's not intent, okay. Whenever somebody takes a loan, there is a loan agreement between the borrower and the bank. And that agreement is a legal document, legally enforceable document. And in that document, the repayment terms are very clearly mentioned. Repayment terms would include the interest that one has to pay and the period at which the payments are to be made. So it's a legally enforceable document. Now, what happens is, if I take a loan and continue to stay in India and stop paying the loan, the bank can come and take the asset for which the loan is given. So let's say a home loan, the bank can take possession of the home for which the loan is given. But if I run away to a country which does not send me back, that's a different matter altogether.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry?
Thank you, sir.
Sir, what are the differences between stocks and shares?
It's the same thing, two different names. Spelling is the only thing which is different. Oh, sorry, yeah. So 2008 financial crisis is a slightly complicated one. I'm sorry, I forgot to answer that. In 2008, or rather let's go back to 1999 when in the United States, they started a movement of affordable housing. And to make the houses affordable, loans were given to people who did not have the capability to repay. So in normal courses, these loans would not have been given, but because the government promoted affordable housing, these loans were given. Then these loans were converted into marketable instruments, and those papers were being traded in the market. And those are the derivatives markets. I'm not getting into the details because I can't explain in 2 minutes. When the default started happening on some of these loans, the banks got into trouble. And when the banks got into trouble, because their investments were linked to the stock markets, overall liquidity disappeared from the market, money was not available, and that brought down the financial markets across the world. It actually got into problems with respect to the business fortunes of some of the large banks. And since you know about 2008, you probably know about Lehman Brothers, the fifth largest investment bank in the United States, filed for bankruptcy. So when loans go bad, the banks turn loss-making, and when one bank turns loss-making, the only thing that matters in banking is trust. And people stop trusting any bank. And when banks are not trust, money does not circulate. And when money does not circulate, economy gets into trouble. So that really is in a nutshell.
Sir, I wanted to ask, like, how does inflation happen? And like our parents say that in their time 5 rupees was a lot, but in our time it is not much. So why is it so?
How many of your mobile phones? Okay, so what's the typical monthly bill that you get on that phone? What's the monthly bill roughly? Any idea? How much recharge do you do if it's a prepaid phone? Huh? ₹800. And how long does that recharge last? 30 days. 1 month, right? So 1 month, ₹800. That's your phone recharge, by the way. When I started my career, my first monthly salary was equivalent to 4 months of phone recharge, ₹3,100 to be precise. So whenever you talk about inflation, look at inflation on both the sides. The expenses also inflate and the income also inflates. So inflation happens on both the sides, by the way. Why does inflation happen? First of all, the government of a country is responsible for issuing the currency. In India, it happens through RBI. But where? Have you seen any note? 100 rupees, 50 rupees, 20 rupees, 500 rupees, any note? You read something is written there and somebody has signed at the bottom. What is written? I promise to pay a sum of so many rupees to the bearer of this note. On a 500 rupees note, it would say I promise to pay 500 rupees. On a 20 rupees note, it would say I promise to pay 20 rupees. Who promises? Governor of RBI. And where does the governor of RBI get money from? From the government of India. And do you know that the government of India does not make profits? On 1st of February, the finance minister would present union budget in the parliament. And in that union budget, if you simply read any newspaper, the first item would be how much money the government is going to receive and how much money the government is going to spend. And the difference between the two, in almost all cases, incidentally in India, 1947 to 2025, the expenses of governments are higher than the income of the government. 1947 to 2025, how many years? 78. यार इतना मैथ्स तो मुझे भी आता है. 78 years the government has been making losses year after year, and then the same government says, I promise to pay you. Where does that promise come from? Would you like to give a loan to somebody who continuously year after year is making losses? But everybody gives to the government of India, right? Why? Because it's the same government which has the power to print currency. And when the currency is printed, the supply of currency notes increases in the market. The basic principle, the first principle of economics says, when the supply goes up, the value goes down. And when the value of rupee goes down, that's called inflation. So 5 rupees in your parents' time was a lot of money. 50 rupees in your time is a lot less money. That's where inflation comes from. But if there is no inflation, what would happen? If the prices don't rise regularly, we will delay our purchase decisions. We will not buy things today. That's why a little bit of inflation is healthy for any economy. Too much inflation is bad. Negative inflation is bad. So it's called deflation. That's where the inflation comes from. Mostly from government actions.
Sir, as you said that a little bit is inflation is good for the country's economic growth. So, sir, what do you think in India is happening right now? A little bit of inflation or more inflation or deflation?
So in India today we are slightly ahead of that little bit inflation, which means our inflation is slightly more than what the RBI desires.
Sir, what is the difference between a pyramid scheme?
Raise your hand, who's asking? Okay, please go ahead.
Sir, what is the difference between a pyramid scheme and multi-level marketing scheme?
It's the same thing, different names. You know the shape of the pyramid? Multi-level marketing also works in the same shape of the pyramid.
So what is the difference?
There's actually no difference. Pyramid scheme could be, other than multi-level marketing, pyramid scheme could simply be investment related scheme. Multi-level marketing could be selling some stuff. So let's say one of the companies says, I will not have a sales channel. Instead, I will appoint some people who in turn will, each one would appoint more people. So let's say I start with myself as a business owner. I would say I'll appoint 5 agents, and each of these 5 have a target to appoint 5 agents under them. So at the first level there is 1, next level 5, next level 25, then 125, whatever, and it continues to get multiplied at that level. So that becomes multi-level marketing. In case of a pyramid scheme, so this is one form of pyramid scheme. In the other pyramid scheme, I'll get people to invest in something, and while investing, I'll also have to get people. Now, when I get those 5 people under me, I get some commission out of their money also. So, in principle, a multi-level marketing is a pyramid scheme. The problem is, at some stage, that expansion stops because there is no further people left. And then the whole thing collapses.
Sir, can you tell us a bit about the Great Depression?
That's a more than 100-year-old story actually. So thanks for asking that. So first of all, let's understand economic terms. When the economy grows, you see it in terms of GDP growth rate being positive. It's called expansion. The moment the growth percentage comes down, it's called a slowdown. When the GDP growth rate becomes negative and it continues for 2 quarters, 2 calendar quarters, 2 subsequent calendar quarters, that is called recession. If the recession continues for long, and the moment that negative growth rate continues beyond 6 quarters, it's called depression. These are economic definitions. This particular thing happened for even longer than that, and that's why it's called the Great Depression. In case of Great Depression, it happened after the World War I, and it ended with World War II. So 1920s, 1914 to 1919 was the first World War. From 1920s, US had started becoming a great power and Europe was losing its hold. Till then Europe was the superpower. US started expanding, and that particular decade saw major expansion of the US economy. Incidentally, that was the time when for the first time loans were available to buy consumer goods. So in the US at that point, during that decade, more than 70% of transistor radios, I don't know how many of you know what transistors are. You know what transistors are? Yes? What? And have you seen a transistor radio? Yes? Wonderful. So those transistor radios, 70% of them were bought on loans. And that sounds like a joke today. So loans were available and that was expanding the market. And at some stage, the prosperity went up in the US to such an extent that people started investing in property, real estate. What real estate? So Florida, some people bought beachfront properties. Rather, they were sold beachfront properties when the beach was only 150 kilometers away. Now, that means excess money was available, they didn't know what to do. And then, the market started coming down, sometime in 1929. Just to give some numbers, the unemployment rate went to 25%. That means 25% of employable youth did not have any employment at that time. The stock market index went down from 380 points in 1929 to 41 points in 1932. So it lost roughly 90% of value during that period. It was only when, and of course there was a drought also coupled with that, and there were people did not have money to buy food. Charities and the government had to open up their coffers, and there were queues in front of these to simply get food. So US actually went through a very tough time during that period, and it was the World War II where the government started spending money to fund the war, and that brought United States out of Great Depression. So that's really the whole story.
So I want to ask something about the expenses and budget of the government that you were talking about. You said that expenses of the government are always more than its budget. But as we all know, that government is not someone who is 100% truthful. No one talks about the black money and the side money that government takes from various sources. So that is not included anywhere. So actually, I want to say that maybe the budget of the government can be much higher than its expense.
So when you talk about black money, by definition, black money is the unaccounted money. Number one. Number two, bribes are never taken by the government. The bribes are taken by individuals. So that's not income to the government. It's an income to some individual. Right? So it doesn't come into government finances. Now, I wouldn't comment on whether the government is truthfully reporting everything or not. But if we don't believe that, there is nothing else to believe. Because nothing else is available apart from that. So we stick to that number, we go with that number. And the world has even believed China's government's numbers. So I think I would love to believe India government numbers.
Sir, my question is that can the government of India control the power of currency? Like they can say from tomorrow the $1 is equivalent to 1 rupee.
It's not called controlling. The government of India may decide that 1 rupee may be equal to $1 or whatever ratio. That's called pegging of currency to another world currency. And that pegging of currency would mean you can exchange at the rupee and dollar at the same rate. So when I was your age for years, 7.5 rupees equal to $1. Today we are around 85. So that time it was pegged. Now when the problem with pegging is, if the inflation in India is higher compared to the US, there is an artificial price of Indian rupee with respect to dollar. What is inflation? So let's say if 1 rupee equal to $1, for example, and you get some item in the US for $3, The same thing should be available in India for 3 rupees if that currency rate is maintained at 1:1. But when the inflation in India is higher, let's say Indian inflation is 10% and US inflation is 5%. That means the next year this 3 rupee item should become 3 rupee 30 paisa in India, whereas at 5% inflation it should be equal to $3.05 in the US. So there is an artificial pricing in India, and that may lead to collapse of the currency or collapse of the economy. And that's why it's bad. They can't control, they can at best artificially peg, and when they do it, in 1998, Asian countries collapsed purely because of this pegging of currency. So it is bad for the country that gets into this kind of artificial arrangements.
And sir, what's the difference between BSE, Sensex, Nifty 50 and the stock market?
Stock market is a broader market, and BSE, Sensex and Nifty 50 are the indices that represent part of the market, which is the larger companies. Nifty 50 represents 50 companies and BSE 30 represents 30 companies. So, but it's a barometer, it's an indicator of what's happening in the market. But market is a bigger place. Indices only tell you what is happening. It's more like a measure.
Sir, my question is that these days digital gold has come. So what is it and what is the difference between digital gold and real gold?
Digital gold, I think, is unregulated thing. So to that extent, whatever is unregulated, try to stay away from it. But financialized gold is available through gold mutual funds or gold exchange traded funds. The gold mutual fund or exchange traded fund is a mutual fund that allows you to take exposure to gold. So you invest in the units and the fund only buys 24 karat gold. So to that extent, it's a financialized vehicle, but eventually the prices move in line with gold.
Sir, I have one doubt. If we have to pursue career, and so BCom will be a better course, and if we focus on earning more money, or BBA and MBA, which will lead us to earn more money?
It's not a degree that leads you to earn more money. It's what lies between your 2 ears. Take up a course that you choose a course based on 2 things. One is your liking for the subject and your aptitude for the subject. Once you crack these 2, once you understand these 2, you start liking that subject and you will develop expertise in that subject. Once you are an expert in that subject, you would not want to take a break from your work. Currently, from 1st January till now, the first holiday that I'll get will be on 26th January because that's a national holiday. By the way, you know which day of the week it is falling on? Yes. That means the other Sundays I don't have off. And that's going to continue till 15th of March at least as of now. Not a single day off. Why do I work like that? For me, it's not my work. It's simply what I do because I love to do that. And then no holidays are required. And that would allow you to do whatever you want to do, whether you want to make money or whether you want to get fame or whether you want awards. That would be the outcome. It will happen. So don't worry about BCom, BBA, MBA, etc. at this stage. Having said that, don't stop at graduation. Do a post-graduation minimum. Get into specialized courses in addition to that. Now, today there are many more career options. So there is a bachelor in financial markets, bachelor of business administration, a bachelor in commerce. I mean, I'm only talking about the related fields. There is a course called BSc Finance, which is more mathematics oriented. So I know about it because my son is pursuing that same course, BSc Finance. So look at those options. If you are more mathematically oriented, get into BSc Finance kind of a course which is more mathematics. If you like statistics, then pursue a course which is more quantitative in nature. BCom would definitely help you in understanding commerce and finance.
Sir, I have a doubt. Sir, even though the Kuwaiti dinar is the most powerful currency, then why is the US dollar most trusted currency? Like, why is the most US dollar used for everything, like for GDPs, sales projection, and everything?
Kuwaiti dinar might be the costliest currency, or any other currency might be the costliest currency in terms of exchange rate. It doesn't make it powerful. US currency or US dollar is powerful because most of the world trade happens in that currency. And that's why it's powerful. Today, I mean, if you read Donald Trump in, or heard whatever he said in November, December after getting elected, he said any country that threatens US dollar will impose sanction on that country, right? Why? So there were talks about alternative currency where the world trade can happen in those currencies. It's the reserve currency of the world, and that's why US dollar is powerful and everything is measured in US dollars. Last. So, yeah.
Why are certain notes or coins discontinued, and what are the steps taken to discontinue it?
So first of all, let's look at the discontinuation at two levels. One is where in 2016 the demonetization happened. On the other hand, some of the smaller denominations get discontinued. So, personally I have seen coins of 1 paisa, 2 paisa, 5 paisa used very regularly when I was a kid. Today you get nothing for even 25 paisa. Right? So those currencies lose significance, and that happens because of inflation. That whatever was available for 25 paisa then is available for 5 rupees now. So then that 25 paisa is not even required. So then the government starts to discontinue. The making of the coins or notes costs far more than the value printed on the currency. Right? So let's say if making a 25 paisa coin uses metal equivalent of 3 rupees, what would people do? They will take the 25 paisa coin, melt the metal or sell it to the scrap wala, and on that 25 paisa they will make 3 rupees. Makes no sense for anybody. So that's where the lower denominations get discontinued. The higher denominations got discontinued because the higher amounts, the 500s and 1000 rupee notes, could be used. The larger denomination available in smaller size allows a lot of black market practices, the cash transactions. And that's where twice in the history of India, the larger denomination notes have been discontinued, once in 1978 and then in 2016. What do? They need to replace it. So they say, put that money in the banks, and through the banks you get other denominations, so that it comes in the mainstream. The moment it comes in the mainstream, the black money reduces. Great, thank you so much, students. Thanks a ton. We can go on and on, but time is always a constraint. But thanks for all your wonderful questions. Thank you so much. Thanks, sir. Thanks, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. I thank you with all my heart for such an insightful session. I'm absolutely certain that our students have got a potential choice to think about after their college and graduation now. And I'm most certain that they all will think about it, they all have got some food for thought. Now I request our principal sir to please come upon the stage and present our eminent speaker with the token of our gratitude. It's a beautiful painting and I'm sure you'll like it, sir. Thank you. The name is not written here. Anyone of you who recognizes this painting if you have made it?
But thank you so much. I mean, if this is representative of your talent, kudos to you all. Salutes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Shri Amit Trivedi, who is an expert in financial matters, and I am truly amazed. I am very happy from both the sides. First, from the pointed questions that each one of you, many of you students have asked, and I am surprised to see your awareness about these financial terms, and very happy to see that you people are keen to know many things and you have knowledge of many things. Many things I was not expecting that you may be aware of 2008, 1978, or depression, Great Depression, or many things which were totally thought-provoking. At the same time, the answers that were given by sir were very apt, and when first time I met in the morning with sir, I was just knowing that sir's profile. But my respect to him has been increased multiple times after listening to the answers that he has given. That shows his level, intellect, and hold on the financial matters. The session was beautiful, amazing, and very interesting to listen, and I request to you all that he used the words aptitude and interest. So these are the two important factors to select your career, because if you are putting best efforts in any career, you are going to shine. There is no doubt. You are going to shine and get the success in every such work where you put your sincere, honest, 100% efforts. There is no doubt. But there will be something where you feel joy. There will be some career, some path where your heart is beating and you feel joy and you feel on yourself on 7th ground. Choose that path. Because this I can say after coming to here. I have a liking for multiple subjects. And I may have expertise also in multiple subjects. But there will be something for which I really am passionate about that particular thing. So choose such a career. Money, status, position, everything else is secondary. So for that, you should know about various career options available. That class 8th, 7th, no age is a small age. You should have that kind of awareness. So thank you so much, sir, for coming and agreeing to our request and to refreshing our knowledge about these all career options available and financial matters. Thank you so much, and our students are centrally benefited from your interactive session. Thank you so much.
Somebody can you take a picture from? Well, you also can join. You also can join. Some student can take. You can actually use this. हाँ 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 हाँ
सरिता मैडम आइए ना यहाँ।
हाँ हाँ प्लीज
सर
प्लीज
आइए
जॉइन
ना, आप भी आइए।
We'll
Yes,
have a
everyone.
picture.
बेटे बेटे सौदा sit properly.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Yes, please. बेटा
चले जाओगे ना, गिरोगे नहीं ना रास्ते में, सो रहे थे ना। चलो अपनी प्लेस पे खड़े रहो। हमारी मैम की हेल्प करने बेटो प्लीज। रणजीत ने मैम बोलेंगे तो फॉलो करना है उस लाइन को। चलो अच्छा लेफ्ट वाली लाइन को ज्वाइन करो, तो राइट वाले को ज्वाइन करो जल्दी। वो अकॉर्डिंग टू हाइट के चक्कर में आपका केस स्टैंड को बिठा दो। अकॉर्डिंग टू हाइट के चक्कर में इसको बिठा दो, तो सब नल्ले बच्चे बैठ गए। सही वो बार बार देख रहे थे यहाँ से, वो बोलते बोलते बार बार इन लोगों को देख रहे थे। बार बार इधर देख रहे थे। स्मार्ट लगेगी। हाँ कितने सुंदर बाल है, एकदम सिल्की वाले, कैसे ऐसे लटका के आते हैं। ये कितना सुंदर ईश्वर ने दिया है, उसको बालों से ढक रखे हैं। वो देखो वो नीचे लटक गए हैं, गिरोगे। अच्छा ये भी है, ये भी पकड़ना है मुझे।